Hi there, air signs, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I certainly appreciate both your viewership as well as your subscriptions, okay? So, what I'd like to do today for you guys is to give you a reading, okay? And in this reading, ladies and gentlemen, I like to not I'm not going to be focusing on one specific aspect or area of your life here. I'm just going to share with you messages that Spirit really would like you to know here. Okay? And we're going to, since it's Halloween, the spooky day, the spookiest day of the year, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on and just use one of my Halloween decks here, or another of my Halloween decks. And today we're going to be using the Haunted House deck today in order to convey your reading. All right? Because air signs and dreams, haunted houses usually represent yourself. And since, ladies and gentlemen, the veil is kind of thinning between our world, ladies and gentlemen, and the unseen, this reading is very purposeful, I think, or useful for those of you who would really want to know or gain insight into your internal house. Okay? In this reading, I've learned that people usually tend to discover things that have been plaguing them and receiving gifts in or blessings, ladies and gentlemen, that certainly will help you along the way and as you clean your house here, if you will. So let's go on and just do this reading here. I'm going to just take these cards out and shuffle up here. Okay. And we're going to start off as usual, ladies and gentlemen, with gaining insight to the overarching theme. And I'm going to make this reading valid from now until, actually, let's do it from November until December, ladies and gentlemen, giving you time with which to work with the energies. Okay? With that said, Spirit, what messages would you like air signs to know in regards to a situation, or perhaps there are several situations that they need to know, okay, that they should know for their highest blessings here, or highest or greatest good here, if you will. All right. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to select some cards here to illustrate what I'm seeing as the overarching theme here. I'm just going to select a few cards from the bottom of the deck here, okay? So let's go on and just see what cards that come up here. We have, wow. All right, we have, ladies and gentlemen, the Ace here of Swords. The Ace of Swords. Okay, these cards are beautiful, aren't they? Okay. The next card we have, ladies and gentlemen, is, wow, the Four of Cups. Okay. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go and select another card here to just give you a fuller picture of what Spirit really wants you to kind of know in regards to your situation when it comes to this. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords here. So I'm just going to take these cards down and just create a story for you guys here. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, as the we have that as the we have the Four Cups, okay? And Four Cups represents, ladies and gentlemen, a water sign here, okay? And what I'm getting from this card certainly represents or brings about a lot of apathy, loss, devastation, and boredom here, okay? I'm also going to select another card, ladies and gentlemen. We have the um, Seven of Swords as well, okay? So I'm just going to add the messages to this, to the cards that I already selected here. So again, with that card there, you know, it shows a lot of, like I said, the Four of Cups shows a lot of apathy, a lot of loss, devastation, boredom, unhappiness, and refusal to embrace change, and hence suggests that many of you are feeling this and maintain, and probably just simply just making an attempt to continue to maintain the status quo in some aspect of your situation, which may not be good for you guys here. Okay, and since this card is a cups, you might be experiencing stagnation in your romantic situation here, or perhaps even in your employment situation. It shows certainly that you've been hurt in the past, I'm getting, and it kind of urges you to stop being focused on the past, and it's time to really embrace opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, and try to take, it looks like you need to take risks that you have yet to be yet taken. I'm seeing here, or take more risks. All right. I'm also seeing here. Okay, and we're just selecting other cards here, showing you the cards as I'm doing them. We have the Seven of Swords there, and with that card, I get a sense of betrayal, theft. You know, someone trying to win at all costs, or cheating and dishonesty. That this is more so the centermost focus that I'm kind of getting with you guys. Someone in your situation, an air sign. I'm picking up air and water. All right, that you've had these experiences with. Someone was certainly up to no good in your situation and didn't have your back as you perhaps thought. I'm getting. Okay. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Two of Swords here. Okay, I'll just put the card back up here. The Two of Swords there. Okay, and with having that card, this card shows an inability for many of you that you've been kind of having difficulty making a, or finding it arduous making a decision between two divergent paths. Some of you are feeling like you're at I see it like a fork in the road. I'm seeing a stalemated non-communication type situation, or simply communication and trust problems. Again, connected with water and air here that I'm getting. Okay, so let's go on and just dive right on into this reading here and just gain more insight, ladies and gentlemen, into what the cards, what additional messages the cards would like to tell you from a more Halloweenish type perspective. Okay, so let's look at bats in the belfry here. That something, ladies and gentlemen, that seems scary, but is actually, you know, this is something, ladies and gentlemen, that might actually be kind of, I feel that's doing you some good despite what you think here. Okay, so let's go on and just select the card here. We have Ace of Swords, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, that's connected to air. So perhaps doing something new here, kind of getting out of your comfort zone, or either trusting your intuition and really making a decision that seemed to be well overdue, I'm getting, and moving forward in a more spiritual direction. It could be some of you have a spiritual practice, you know, that you might want to continue to really utilize, I'm getting, or to kind of hone, or to get out there. All right, so let's look at skeletons in your closet. Something you are holding either from yourself, or, ladies and gentlemen, it could be something that you might be holding, perhaps even from, others here that I'm kind of getting. Okay. And we're going to go in and select the card here, and we have Four of Swords here. Okay. Air signs, if this reading is resonating, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share it with others to whom you think might benefit, and be sure to press that subscription button so that each and every one of you might receive future readings. Okay. So with having that card here, I feel that some of you appear to be beholding that you might be in recovery. Some of you might be in rehab program or a hospital, or you might be sick in some way for fear of rejection. I'm getting here, that I'm seeing here with this card. Let's move on to your waiting ghost, or something that might be, it appears to be haunting many of you still. Okay, that I'm kind of getting here. We have, ladies and gentlemen, the Ten of Swords here. And with having that card, an air sign might be still haunting you in some way, or you're feeling haunted by this person. But I feel that many of you are still clinging to the fact that someone stabbed you in the back and hurt you badly, which, like I said, might be this air sign. And ladies and gentlemen, it could be vice versa. You might have done it to them. This card denotes a feeling of defeat, ladies and gentlemen, collapsing or somehow wishing to give up, which might be connected to a work or either a romantic situation. So take the energies however they resonate with your situation. Spirit wants you, ladies and gentlemen, to embrace the new and to understand that there are benefits and lessons that you learn when having achieved or gain insight or having experienced adversity here. All right. So let's look at crazy, ladies and gentlemen, Portergeist. Okay, and this placement represents a destructive behavior that might be damaging you, air signs. Okay, so we have the Three of Swords here. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Three of Swords. And with having that card, that represents an air sign,